Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel in the first place. Today we have an LX listener. It's Cake by It's Marcy Guys on AO3. The link will be in the description. Go check them out, and let's go ahead and get into it. You stood patiently at the front of your little pastry shop near Toho University, waiting for one of your favorite customers to come in. Just the pure thought of him made you smile, and you often looked forward to the small conversations you'd have with him. Just then, the little bell at the door of your shop rung, announcing someone's arrival. "Water," he explained, making a big gesture with your arms. "Let me guess, the usual?" The older man chuckled, always happy to see your antics. "That's right." He dropped his money at the front of the counter. "One strawberry shortcake with extra strawberries." "Coming right up." You disappeared into the back, popping the fridge where you keep your pastries cold, and a large cake came out. Emerging back into his field of view, you held the cake in a shiny white box. "Here you go, one large cake for my favorite customer. I hope you like it." He chuckled again. He couldn't help but smile every time he visited your shop. "You know we always do." The word in the middle confused you. "We?" He shook his head and pat yours gently, obviously hiding something. However, you decided not to pry. "Well, have a good day." He thanked you for your services, calling you by your last name, despite the fact that you told him way too many times to call you by your first, and left the shop. About a week later, you bargained it was less, knowing how fast your favorite customer was prone to coming back and asking for another one. You followed the same routine as always. You stood at the front of the shop, waiting for Watari to come in. When the bell rung, you turned expectantly to see your favorite old man, almost yelling, "Watari?" A man with disheveled hair and large, dark eyes stared at you. He was deathly pale and hunched over horribly, even though he was just standing and wore a baggy long-sleeve shirt and jeans. To say that you would happily die in a heartbeat for this man is an understatement. A blush erupted onto your face as the man simply stared at you, still standing in the door of your shop. "May I help you?" You stuttered out, hoping your nervousness wasn't too noticeable. "Yes." The man moved in front of you now, looking at the little cakes you had on display. "I heard your cakes are quite good. I ran out of sweets and Watari is sick." The last part startled you. "He's sick? Is he alright?" You held back the more obvious question, unsure if he was the person Watari was talking about the other day. "Yes, I gave him time off, so he should be alright soon. I would like a slice of the mocha fudge cake, please." The way he changed subjects so quickly almost startled you. It's like he's thinking of a million different things a second. You carefully slid out one of the slices and handed it to him. He gave a quiet thank you, slammed down a bunch of crumpled up paper bills on the counter, and left to go take a seat. You stared at him intently as he sat down at one of the booths. Thankfully, he seemed not to notice, too distracted by the cake in front of him. The man carefully sliced the cake into a bite-sized piece, picked it up with his fork, and gently plopped it into his mouth. Suddenly, his eyes widened as the fork hung between his lips. "Oh God, is it really that bad?" you thought, gripping the counter. But before you knew it, the cake was gone. With a chuckle, you started counting the money. He had given you over 10,000 yen, above the cake's value. With a small shake of your head, you grabbed what the cake was worth and walked over to his table. He sat with his knees pressed to his chest, the fork you had given him hanging lazily between his lips. You gave me too much money. It only costs 530 yen, and you gave me 10,900. The man shook his head. "I plan on being here a while. Since there are no new cases and Watari can't assist me like he usually does, so this should pay everything I order. I would like one slice of every cake you have, and..." Do you happen to have any tea? You looked at him, startled. Yeah, we do. What kind would you like? Earl Grey. You held back a snicker. Sounds like a British person's order. Wait, is he British? You walked out back to your kitchen and started to boil a kettle. Then walked back out to your display case. A waiter's tray sat on your counter. Grabbing it, you began placing every type of cake you had on it. By the time you were finished, the kettle started whistling, signaling that the water was ready. You grabbed one of your nicest cups, poured the water in, and set down a tea bag for it to steep. Humming to yourself thoughtfully, you gave the man his cup of tea, along with little cups of milk and a bowl of sugar cubes. You returned back to where you had left the cakes and started setting down one of every cake in your display. When you finished, you were ready to leave, but then he spoke up. Please stay a moment. You obliged, staring at the sparkle in his eyes at the cakes in front of him. How old are you? Oh, I'm a sophomore in college, so 22. Your cheeks flushed slightly. I'm studying at the university nearby. What are you studying? He munched on the first cake in front of him. It was a matcha tea cream cupcake. Criminal psychology. Your response was almost clipped. Usually, when you responded, people would ask you to profile them. It never ended well. Really. He took a sip of his tea before dumping over 5 packets of milk and 7 sugar cubes in it. How good are you at it? You paused for a second. Well, I suppose I'm doing rather well. I'm at the top of my class, and I've been asked to be the teacher's assistant. Do you find your classes to be boring? He interrupted before you could continue. You weren't sure how to respond, so he continued pressing. Do you have any difficulty solving problems? You shook your head. Do you have fun while you do your schoolwork? You shook your head again. Do you long to get out there, to make a difference in the world? This time you nodded, eagerly, much to the man's amusement. What's your name? Listener, you finally responded with your voice. What's yours? L. You gasped, almost too dramatically. But you supposed. It makes sense. He was able to read me so easily. Maybe he really is him. You nodded triumphantly. Well, L. You smoothed down your work clothes. I never suspected you'd be British, to be honest. He rose a brow. Well, your choice in tea was a dead giveaway. He looked down at the drink mentioned. Yes, I suppose, but I could have been Japanese with British tastes. You nodded. Yes, but not many Japanese people also have a fascination with strawberry shortcake. The ghost of a smile appeared on Elle's face, making your heart swell. No wonder you're so bored in classes. He had finished most of your little confections by this point. I think I'll be coming here more often. Will you still be working if I stop by? The heat on your cheeks intensified. Yes, yes, of course. Elle nodded and stood up. He walked out the door wordlessly, leaving you to your thoughts. He had still paid you way too much. Alright, so that's the end of this one. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a great rest of your day, night, whatever, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye!